In the dim glow of dawn, an aging emperor stands alone on a windswept balcony of Agra Fort, his once proud frame now frail and stooped. His hair, once jet black like the midnight sky, gleams ghostly white under the first faint rays of sun. Across the calm waters of the Yamuna River, a vision emerges from the mist, a colossal white dome rising toward the heavens, flanked by four slender towers that pierce the sky like silent guardians. The structure seems to shimmer, almost alive, its marble surfaces catching the light in a way that makes it appear to breathe. Tears trace paths down the emperor's weathered cheeks as he gazes at this unparalleled masterpiece, a creation born not from conquest or glory, but from a grief so profound it threatened to consume an entire empire. This is the moment Shah Jahan confronted the eternal reminder of his greatest love and his deepest loss. And in that fragile instant, the story of the Taj Mahal unfolds like a storm on the horizon, pulling us into a world where ambition, devotion, and tragedy collide. To understand the man who envisioned such beauty from ashes, we must travel back to the vibrant heart of the Mughal Empire in the early 17th century. This was an age of unparalleled splendor and ruthless power. Spanning vast stretches of the Indian subcontinent, the empire pulsed with wealth drawn from silk routes, spice trades, and fertile lands. Grand palaces echoed with the verses of poets, intricate gardens bloomed under meticulous care, and rulers saw themselves as patrons of art, science, and divine order. Into this tapestry of opulence and intrigue was born Prince Khurram, grandson of the illustrious Emperor Akbar, whose reign had expanded the empire's borders and cultural influence to legendary heights. From his earliest years, Khurram was groomed for leadership. He studied the arts of warfare, mastering the strategies that would later secure victories on blood-soaked battlefields. He immersed himself in poetry and philosophy, learning to appreciate the delicate balance between strength and sensitivity. Yet beneath the rigorous training lay a young heart yearning for something authentic amid the calculated alliances of court life. The Mughal world was one of grand processions, lavish feasts, and hidden rivalries, where every decision could tip the scales of power. Khurram navigated this carefully, his sharp mind and charismatic presence marking him as a future leader. But fate had a different encounter in store, one that would redefine his destiny far beyond thrones and territories. It was 1607 in the bustling city of Agra, during a grand royal bazaar teeming with life. Merchants from distant lands displayed their finest wares under colorful canopies, shimmering silks from Persia, fragrant spices that filled the air with exotic aromas, jewels that sparkled like captured stars, and delicate glass beads catching the sunlight. The atmosphere crackled with energy as nobles and commoners mingled in this rare spectacle organized for the court. Amid the crowds walked the young prince, observant and composed. Then, in a fleeting moment that would echo through centuries, his gaze locked with that of a young woman named Arjamand Banu Begum. Daughter of a respected noble, she carried herself with an elegance that transcended the chaos around her. Historians of the era describe an instant spark, a recognition that went beyond mere attraction. For Khurram, the world seemed to narrow to her presence alone. Struck by this encounter, the prince approached his father with unwavering resolve. He sought marriage, not for political gain, but driven by a profound personal conviction. Royal protocols demanded patience, and 5 years would pass before the union could be formalized, a period of anticipation that tested his dedication. In an imperial culture where multiple marriages strengthened alliances and produced heirs, Khurram's singular focus on Arjamand was remarkable. He turned away. Other prospects, his thoughts anchored to the memory of that bizarre meeting. When 1612 finally arrived, their wedding united not just two lives, but two souls in a partnership that would become legendary. Shah Jahan bestowed upon her the title Mumtaz Mahal, signifying her cherished place as the chosen jewel of the palace. Their bond deepened rapidly into something extraordinary. Mumtaz accompanied him on grueling military campaigns, enduring harsh terrains and the uncertainties of war without complaint. She offered wise counsel on governance, her insights sharpening his decisions during turbulent times. Trusted with the royal seal, a symbol of immense authority, she stood as his closest confidant, a role few women in that era ever attained. Their relationship defied the conventions of the time. Court records note that Shah Jahan found fulfillment solely in her company, showing little interest in the harems that populated other rulers' lives. Together, they welcomed 13 children, filling the palace with vitality and hope. Mumtaz extended her compassion beyond the court, supporting widows, aiding orphans, and listening to the pleas of everyday people. Poets sang of her as a source of light, her presence illuminating even the darkest corners of imperial duty. For nearly 2 decades, their shared life painted a picture of harmony amid the empire's grandeur. Yet, no golden era lasts without shadows. Beneath the surface of prosperity, the undercurrents of succession loomed. Mughal history was rife with fraternal conflicts, where brothers vied fiercely for the throne, often at devastating costs. As Khurram rose through military successes and administrative prowess, whispers of future strife grew louder. He sensed the fragility of power, the way loyalty could fracture under ambition's weight. These tensions foreshadowed a personal trial that would eclipse all political battles, one rooted not in swords or schemes, but in the quiet vulnerability of the human heart. The empire might conquer lands, but could it withstand the storm of irreplaceable loss? By 1628, after navigating a complex web of rivalries and emerging triumphant, Prince Khurram claimed the throne as Emperor Shah Jahan. His early reign sparkled with promise. For 3 years, he and Mumtaz governed in tandem, fostering an environment where arts thrived and the court radiated creativity. Music filled marble halls, poets composed odes to beauty and valor, and the empire enjoyed relative peace. Their partnership seemed unbreakable, a rare fusion of love and leadership that inspired those around them. But destiny, ever unpredictable, prepared a reckoning that would test the emperor's spirit to its core. In 1631, during a military expedition in the region of Burhanpur, tragedy struck without warning. Mumtaz, expecting their 14th child, faced a labor fraught with complications. Shah Jahan, ever attentive, remained by her side through the agonizing hours. In her final moments, as strength ebbed away, she whispered a plea that would shape the remainder of his life. Create a monument so exquisite, so transcendent, that the world would forever remember their unparalleled love. At the age of 38, Mumtaz passed, leaving a void that no victory or wealth could fill. The emperor's grief was cataclysmic. He secluded himself for days, shunning food, rejecting the comforts of music and jewels that once defined his world. When he finally emerged, those closest to him were stunned. His appearance had transformed, the vitality drained, his posture bent, years seemingly etched into his features overnight. The court plunged into mourning, mirroring his sorrow with subdued tones and halted festivities. For 2 full years, the empire held its breath, as if awaiting the return of its guiding light. From this abyss of despair, a fierce determination ignited. Shah Jahan resolved to fulfill his promise, channeling his pain into a creation that would defy mortality. In 1632, work commenced on the southern banks of the Yamuna River in Agra. He assembled a legion of the most skilled minds from across the empire and beyond, architects with visionary blueprints, master craftsmen versed in ancient techniques, and laborers whose hands would turn dreams into reality. More than 20,000 workers descended upon the site, erecting a makeshift city complete with bustling markets, living quarters, and places of worship to sustain the monumental effort. The logistics alone bordered on the miraculous. Pure white marble, sourced from the quarries of Makrana, over 300 kilometers distant, was meticulously extracted, transported by ox-drawn carts and massive elephant trains across rugged landscapes. The journey for each block spanned weeks, demanding precision to avoid damage. But marble was merely the foundation. Shah Jahan sought to infuse the structure with the world's treasures: jade imported from distant China, vibrant turquoise from Tibetan highlands, deep blue lapis lazuli from Afghan mines, sparkling sapphires from Sri Lanka, and warm carnelian from Arabian shores. In all, nearly 28 varieties of precious and semi-precious stones converged in Agra, transforming the project into a global symphony of materials. Artisans employed the painstaking method known as pietra dura, carving intricate floral motifs, vines, and Quranic inscriptions into the marble and embedding the gemstones with flawless accuracy. These inlays were so seamless that the surface felt unbroken to the touch, the colors enduring vibrantly even today. The central dome soared to 73 meters, its onion-shaped silhouette a hallmark of Mughal elegance, surrounded by 4 smaller domes for harmony. At each corner, slender minarets rose, deliberately tilted outward by a subtle degree, an ingenious safeguard, so that in the event of seismic upheaval, they would collapse away from the sacred core rather than upon it. This foresight revealed the emperor's enduring protectiveness, even in mourning. The gardens embodied paradise itself, laid out in the traditional charbagh pattern of 4 quadrants divided by shimmering water channels that converged at a long reflecting pool. Here, the entire edifice mirrored itself in perfect symmetry, evoking the rivers of heaven as described in sacred texts. Inside, delicate marble screens filtered light like ethereal lace, casting intricate patterns across the cool interiors. The central chamber housed Mumtaz's tomb, adorned with stone flowers and calligraphy that scaled in size to appear uniform from below, an optical marvel of engineering and artistry. Every element spoke of devotion. The play of dawn's pink hues, midday's brilliant white, sunset's golden warmth, and the moonlit silver glow that made the structure seem illuminated from within. It was no static monument, but a living testament, shifting with the hours yet eternally steadfast. The construction spanned 21 arduous years, marked by countless challenges. Supply lines stretched thin, skilled hands required constant coordination, and the emperor's insistence on perfection pushed the limits of possibility. Yet, by 1653, the Taj Mahal stood complete, a breathtaking achievement that captured the imagination of all who witnessed it. Shah Jahan had kept his word, erecting a love letter in stone that transcended personal sorrow to touch the universal human experience. But peace remained elusive. In 1658, illness struck the emperor, weakening his body and opening the door to familial betrayal. His sons, driven by hunger for power, clashed in a violent struggle for succession. Aurangzeb, the 3rd son, prevailed through calculated ruthlessness, defeating his siblings and securing the throne. In a move that sent ripples of shock through the empire, he confined his father to Agra Fort. Though provided with comforts and attendance, Shah Jahan was a prisoner in all but name. From his balcony perch, he could view the distant Taj Mahal, its form a constant, aching presence. For 8 long years, this became his ritual, watching the monument transform with the light, a daily communion with memory and loss. His devoted daughter Jahanara stayed by his side, offering solace as his health declined and vision blurred, reducing the grand edifice to a hazy white silhouette. The proximity tormented him, the tomb so near, yet unreachable, a poignant symbol of love's enduring yet painful bonds. On January 22, 1666, at the age of 74, Shah Jahan breathed his last. His remains were transported across the river to rest eternally beside Mumtaz. In the Taj Mahal's flawless symmetry, his tomb sits slightly off-center, the sole deliberate asymmetry in the entire design. Originally conceived solely for her, the addition speaks volumes. This was a real, imperfect human story, where love disrupts perfection in the most meaningful ways. Centuries have passed, yet the Taj Mahal endures as a pinnacle of human creativity and emotion. Designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1983 and named one of the new 7 wonders in 2007, it draws over 7 million visitors annually from every nation. Travelers marvel at the engineering ingenuity, the artistic mastery, and the atmospheric magic that makes it feel alive. But beneath the awe lies the heartbeat of its origin, a man's profound dedication to honoring his wife, transforming personal devastation into a beacon that continues to inspire wonder. Shah Jahan's journey, from ambitious prince to grief-stricken visionary to imprisoned elder, reveals the complexities of power, the resilience of the human spirit, and the timeless force of love. He lost his throne, his freedom, and his beloved, yet gifted humanity a creation that bridges eras and cultures. In reflecting on this legacy, we confront our own capacities for creation amid hardship. What monuments, however small, do we build from our deepest feelings? How might our struggles echo into the future? The Taj Mahal stands not merely as architecture, but as a profound question posed across time. Can beauty forged in sorrow outlast empires and heal the fractures of the heart? As you ponder this, consider the stories shaping your own path. What legacy will your devotion leave behind? Share your reflections. What aspect of this tale resonates most deeply with you? The young prince's fateful glance in a crowded market, the decades of shared companionship, the years of painstaking construction, or the quiet endurance from a prison balcony. History's greatest narratives invite us to connect, to feel, and to carry forward their lessons. In every age, love like this reminds us of our shared humanity, urging us to build meaningfully, love fiercely, and remember that even in loss, something eternal can emerge.